Hey, what's up, ladies and guys? Welcome to Let's Fix Things. Well, it's a beautiful fall day and I am going to be working on my log splitter. Well, as you can see, my 2006 F350 has the hood up. That's actually going into the shop tomorrow to have a front end done, front end alignment, and some tie rods done. My 2001 Ford F350, I blew the power steering, well, the power steering lines rotted out on it, and that's going to take, sounds like a week to get the parts in. I already have the parts taken out, so the truck is pretty much stuck there on the ramps in front of bay 2. So bay 2 is pretty much landlocked. Luckily there's no projects in there, but in bay 3 I have my log splitter, and what I want to do on my log splitter is make a tray at a table at the end of it, so when the logs get split, the pieces don't fall immediately onto the conveyor. They actually have a 2.5 foot roughly table that they have to get pushed off of. That way, when I split a big log in half, the big piece does not A, fall on the floor, B, fall on to the splitter conveyor, which is back in that corner there. And then I got to fight to get it, or I got to walk all the way around to pick up the log to get it back up onto the splitter. So this way, when the logs go through the splitter and I got to resplit them to make them smaller, I just got to reach across the table and pull them back on there. So let me show you what I got. I already went to the metal yard, got some metal cut. It's sitting right here. I'll show you how they cut that real quick for me. I got 3 foot by 3 foot, 1/8 inch diamond plate. And I already have some other metal inside, 1 by 1 and 2 by 2, that I'm going to be using to make the frame for it. So let me show you my ideas, and then we'll go over that from there, and then I'm just going to start cutting and grinding.
Yeah, you should have to go a little more.
Yep, there's another, almost an inch.
That's a light.
I gotta go another. Okay, I got it. Ready? Right about there, right?
You tell me.
Looks good.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks good there now.
So you just hold your end. No, I ain't gotta move it here. Good, good.
This is a short one though. Hold that a minute.
So here's my 3 foot by 3 foot. I already have a 5-inch square marked here. Just I kind of jumped the gun on it, so I wanted to show you on camera before I started actually cutting though. Here's a log splitter. It's an old Phoenix. I put a new engine on it last year, a Harbor Freight 420. And there is the splitter end. Let me go around and I'll get over to that splitter end and I'll show you. But yeah, here's the 01. And the transmission lines are right here and they're rusted out. So I ended up having to take the turbo tube off, and I'm gonna get a new air cleaner also, because this one's 10 years old at least and definitely needs to be replaced. But yeah, so that's on that, and the transmission lines are right in that corner. I have a cooler, not a transmission line, power steering. I have a power steering cooler right there, and that's where the lines are, and they get rusted. They rusted out because of all the salt on the road. All right, don't fall in the pit. Let's go around here. And here is what I'm thinking. I'm gonna do a table coming off this end here, and it's going to actually be removable. I gotta cut this off, this leg, because this leg is too small. So I'll cut that leg off, and I'm gonna actually replace it with something bigger and better. But then I'm gonna have a 2-inch receiver basically on both sides. So when I go to install the table, I just slide it in and stick a pin in, and I can take the table off for transport, because this is also a trailer. And then the table is going to come approximately 5 inches past this edge here. So I got to cut this section here, this cross section right here, out. So that's that 5-inch block that I had marked. This is cutting this section out for the I-beam, for it to slide past the I-beam. And I'm cutting this off, and I'm going to replace that jack or leg with an old trailer jack that I have that's extendable. It's heavier duty, easier to adjust, and it goes longer. That's going to get welded right to the end of the I-beam here instead of this. So the handle will be up here out of the way, and I'll be able to adjust it a lot better, because that right there is very limited on adjustments. So I got to cut that off, weld this on, and then add this 2x2 hole to that diamond plate out there basically, so it goes right around it. I'm going to keep the diamond plate pretty close to the height of the top of the I-beam right here. It's probably going to, I think it's 5 inches I'm going, because it's a 5-inch I-beam. So I'll go 5 inches wide also, which is approximately here. So nothing will happen to it. And this is a workstation, so it will not be affected. This is all the metal I have for the framework that I will be messing with. But the first thing I got to do is cut that off, put that leg on, and then I can cut the diamond plate and dry fit the diamond plate. Once I have the diamond plate, the table's going to be just the size of the diamond plate. So then I can make a supportive frame for the table once I have the diamond plate. Got it? All right, let's get working. know what I should have done? I should have made sure the jack worked. I took it off for a reason. Huh. It's all welded now. Well, let's see. All right, guys, I got like 5 minutes. I've been out in the garage. I am back thinking about the log splitter table. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna temporarily tack the table directly to the log splitter. I might even make it just permanent where I don't have to remove it, because I'm not moving the log splitter anywhere. Once it's there, it's gonna stay there for at least until I buy a new log splitter, and that's probably gonna be a couple years, I would think. So I think I'm just gonna tack it there, see what it looks like. It's just that the 3x3 sheet metal, a diamond plate already, with no frame support on it yet. And I'm gonna see if I like it the way it is, and I might just weld up some frames in place and leave it that way. I haven't decided, so just let's brainstorm. I'm overthinking this. It's not that difficult of a project, but I wanted it removable. I don't think I'm gonna make it removable. It's just no point in it. So, all right, let me figure it out. Goodbye. All right, I'm overthinking it. I'll be back. Let me figure out how I want to get this done. I want to try to figure out some way to make this thing removable. If I was just welding it on, that'd be fine. But then I have no tongue weight. So if I did ever go to move this, even in the yard, it would want to pop up. So that would be a pain in the butt. Doesn't, and I'm also aggravated. I didn't test this jack. There's a dead spot in the jack. I should have definitely tested that before I built this thing. So that's the other reason I want to make sure this table is removable. So in the future, if I decide to cut this jack off and put a new jack on, I can. So, all right, let me do some thinking and I'll be back. Well, guys, I got it all tacked up, and designed. I'm pretty happy with it. I just put these two little, everything's tacked, so it's not welded solid, except these two pieces are welded solid together, but I got to tack all the parts together. But those little platforms are so you can plop it down on there and slide it in. There's the bottom of it. I have these big sides. There's 3-inch tall by 1/8-inch sides, so I don't need any vertical supports going this way. So I'm gonna, obviously I gotta throw a whole bunch of weld on here, on 2x2s. Those right there are, so your legs don't get cut on it. And once it's all welded, I'll go around and I'll cut rounded corners on all these. Anything that's sharp, I'll even do those. I'll round those off a little bit. So I am done for today. I got to let this air out. It's raining out, so I have only one door open. And my garage is a mess because I pulled all the equipment in. And I got a bunch of little two little lawnmowers over there for winter projects also. So garage is kind of a mess. I didn't want to do this all inside. And I don't want to weld all that inside either. So that's why I'm going to continue this on a dry day when I can go outside. And then I could do all the grinding outside and all that. So one lesson I learned when I was in the military is fire watch. And I was on a ship. I was on a ship for a little bit. And anytime there was hot work or cutting torches or welding or any kind of hot work where there's spark, you did a 30-minute, most of the time it was a 30-minute fire watch. So I now have to hang out here for 30 minutes because I do have a lot of things out here that are not good to have sparks around. You know, I got tanks over there. I got my oxygen acetylene tank here. I got a propane tank right there. Got a propane tanks over here. So I'm gonna hang out here for probably about 30 minutes. Probably maybe put some tools away. I might not. I might just surf the web. And I'll finish this on the next dry day when I could get it outside. So I'll be back, guys. All right, guys, I've got to be the biggest idiot. That came out great, right? I really like that. I love the way I have it mounted to be able to mount on the splitter. But guess what? I have a feeling it's going to hit the travel. I have a feeling this is going to hit. This needs to be cut way back here, I think. Because I know this does not go all the way to the log, but I know it goes farther than this. I think it goes to about here. So I have a feeling I'm gonna have to cut the cutting torch out. Well, I can cut this stuff with a Sawzall. But if that's still not enough on both of them, then I'm gonna have to get the cutting torch out probably and cut some of that off. That sucks. I should have started this thing up, moved the ram all the way forward and go from there. All right, let me see if I get this thing started first and I'll try it. And I knew that going into this. I kept trying to figure it out in my head. Instead of just starting the machine up, moving it forward and building it with it in place, I could have gotten it exact. Now, my fingers are crossed. And this thing hasn't started since early spring, last time I split firewood. So let me see if I get this thing started. I'm gonna move the ram forward. I'm hoping it doesn't hit anything, but we'll see. Well, that answers that. Let me get the Sawzall and I'm gonna cut that overhang off. That'll give me at least another inch. Fingers crossed that'll be enough. All right, guys, I think I got it. Let me show you how close it is. That is right up against it. So one thing I've always noticed about this log splitter, it never gets close to that. It's always stayed about that far away. So it looks like I got it. And I think while I have the splitter near the welder, oh, I already put the welder away. I was gonna say, maybe I'll make a plate for this to get it even closer, because on that stringy wood and the knotty wood, that little bit makes a difference. We'll see. All right, guys, crisis averted. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I made this off-centered because I'm going to be doing 99% of my splits from this side, and I wanted a little bit more room here so I could like stage logs if I needed to. So this is 20 inches and 16 inches. So that's where the center line is, 16 inches and 20 inches. So I have 4 more inches on this side. That was intentional. But yeah, well, crisis averted. It's all done. And it is solid. It actually looks pretty good too. I thought I was gonna have to do a stiff leg off the back of it, but I'm not gonna. It's really solid. The only thing left I have to do is drill a hole here and here through both of these, just so I can stick a pin in there, just so it has a something so it doesn't push out. I could, you know, if I put one on the top, I just have to just drop it in there. Maybe I'll do that. Yeah, I could probably do that. Just drill 2 holes right in the top, pop one there, right through both layers, right through both layers there. And then I could just drop a bolt in there and then pull the bolt out when I need to take that off. And that's gonna be a lot easier to get access to also. All right, guys. Well, time for, you know what? Let me see if I can drill the holes. While I got the metal all over the driveway, I'm gonna drill some holes, so we'll see. Well, guys, I'm done. That's it. Ready for paint. Not bad. I got these bolts just dropped in there. And that way, if I got to remove it, I can put vice grips on them and pull them up. Very easy. So I got to take the grinder now and get some of this oil off. You know what? I'll just hit it with brake cleaner. And I'm going to take this off, bring it inside. I'm going to leave this outside. I'll cover the engine. And I'll slap some spray paint on the brackets on the machine. And then I'm going to lather this up with, I think, brushed Rust-Oleum if I have any. I think I have some Rust-Oleum in a can. Give it a little thicker coat. All right, I am satisfied. All right, let me paint it and I'll be back. Oh, and then once I get it done, we have to move some bushes. See these rhododendrons and mountain laurel right there? Those got to be dug out and transplanted. I'm going to put them down near the road, all the way down there, to help block some of the view. And then that way it'll give me more room for the log splitter. So this is a whole nother project. Before I could even set up the log splitter, I got to dig out all those rhododendrons over there. All right, enough of that. But that firewood pile is going to be huge when it's all split. All right, well, let me get started. Let me get ready. Goodbye. I decided to use a spray can. I'm too impatient. So I got one coat on everything. I didn't do the bottom, obviously. I got to flip it over for that. But I got one coat on everything. Eventually, I like to pressure wash this and get this all cleaned up, but not this year. Not this time of year. So I'm going to give that a couple hours to dry. I'll flip it, and I'll put some coats on the other side. And I'll just do it that way. And that should be ready then by tomorrow if I keep doing it that way. Couple hours, flip it, couple hours, flip it. All right, I'll be back, guys. Well, I'm trying to get the log splitter all set up. But in order to do that, I got to move a whole bunch of old rhododendrons and mountain laurels. The rhododendrons normally transplant pretty good with the machine. The mountain laurels really don't, but they're all in the way. They're 40, 50, 60 years old. They got to be gone anyways. So I actually even built a battery shelf on here because I'm going to put a battery on this. Whew, I'm out of breath. So let me show you real quick. I'm digging them up from where the log splitter is, and I'm putting them down in the front yard. I made a nice flat berm that they're gonna go on. So let me show you where they're gonna go, and then I'm gonna open up the spot, and then I can hopefully set up the log splitter in this video, and then that'll wrap up the log splitter. Oh, I also did a quick oil change on the Predator 420 right there. I just put 1.15 quarts of 1030 oil in it. All right, let me show you where I'm taking them out and where they're going. All right, there's the logs, where the log splitter goes. All these got to come out, all over here. So that way the log splitter can line up over here, and I'll have all that extra room over there too. And then I might take these out also. I'm carrying a couple of small ones down here, but they're going to go from that lamp post right across this berm. Let me get down here a little bit better and I'll show you. This is all fill from my yard and leaves and grass clippings. But I'm going to plant a row of them right on top of this berm here. And eventually it's going to connect back down into the one that's already down in the road. So they'll go from that mountain laurel there, past the PJM, all through here, fill it all in. But like I said, this is all compost basically, all leaves and just like that. That's 6 feet deep right there. So I'll give you an idea how much it is. This hole is back down to virgin ground. That's how much, and that's all leaves and dirt from the yard. So it's gonna be nice. And all these trees are gonna come down, and that'll be grass down there. All right, well, let me get back up there. Well, I don't know if you can see how dark it is, but it's dark. And I got most of them in the ground. I'll show you tomorrow. And I got a few more things I got to pick up before the day's over. All right, guys, it's the next day. I worked till dark last night, and then we had a huge windstorm. But let me show you where I left off, and I got literally 1 hour to get something done today. So let me show you the mess I have that I gotta kind of make a little bit neater for today, and then I'm gonna try to finish up more tomorrow. We'll see. All right, so let me turn the camera around and show you what my thought is and how we're going. I gotta move this tractor back out of here, and as you see, I got a couple small ones right here that I gotta move down there. I got the mountain laurel still here. Mountain laurel doesn't transplant very well. I got those. I got a few small roadies in here. I got this mountain laurel right there, and then I have that roadie back there. So now I'm going to dig up these small ones. I planted all the big ones last night, and some of them took some damage, but you could see my goal is to make a hedge. My other hedge starts way over there and ended there. So I just planted all those there, and then I'm going to continue going over toward that direction, and then I'm going to do the mountain laurel on the vertical side of it. I'll show you here. All right, let me walk down and now I'll come back. So I have a few more stragglers down here that I got to plant. You can see that one section there took some damage. That one right there took some damage. But overall, they're not bad. Don't forget, these have been in the woods for the last 30 years. So they're kind of scraggly and tall. But I'm going to take another large one and plop it here. Another tall one. And that'll fill this void in. And put a couple more going this direction. Right where the hole is, actually. And the other couple more rhododendrons coming along here, this edge. I'm going to fill this hole in, obviously, a little bit more. And then I'll put the mountain laurel in this way, because I really don't need a mountain laurel, or I don't need a screen, visual screen here. This is where I need my visual screen coming from the street. And I'll show you from the road what it's starting to look like real quick. But then once these are done, then I can cut all these trees down here, and then I'll have grass right up to the bottom of the bank. All right, so let me go across the street and I'll show you what I'm thinking of. So here's the view from the sidewalk. What I'm trying to do is block the view. If you look up my driveway, you can see all the big wood pile way up there. And I'm trying to block the view from the road So all these will come down and I'll have grass going from the city sidewalk right up. Eventually I want those new rhododendrons that we just transplanted last night. You could still, it already started blocking it. It looks really good visibility wise. That's gonna continue over and over to visually right about back there, right on behind this big tree, but up on the berm. And then I'll do the mountain laurel here just to give them a chance to live, to see if they survive or not. And then I can start cutting all these down here like I did on the other side of the front yard. So I'll have grass all the way up to that berm. And then I can mulch that next year and throw some, you know, grasses or more hosta all along here. And then this will all be grass. I think I'm gonna leave this tree, this real big tree. I think I might leave that one and cut all the rest down. And then these are all gonna come down here. And then obviously this one that I'm burying, that's already buried 6, 7 feet deep right there. So that's obviously gonna be cut down. And then I can fill this whole section of lawn in nice and flat. And that'll open up my lawn, give me nice new grass down here, and provide privacy. All right, so let me warm up the Mini, and I'm gonna run up there and start digging up more roadies. All right, so this is the last batch, and this is the mountain laurel. If they die, they die. I'm just giving them a chance. I'm gonna go plant them all the way down at the end of the rhododendron berm that I made already. And then that should be it. Then it's just a matter of regrading up here and organizing everything up here. All right, I'm gonna bring them down with the machine. So like I said, if these things die, they die. I got to get some water on them also, even though it rained. But I'm going to plant these. And then these are the mountain laurel, which I have a 99% chance of them all dying. But I'm going to get them in the ground and see what happens. And then fingers crossed on roadies. It'll take a few years for them to fill in if they take. Otherwise, oh well. Better than just throwing them in a dumpster. All right, guys, I'm done. If they live, they live. They don't, they don't. It's the last 10 feet right there. And then I got to get the garden hose down here before I go in. All right, I'll be back. All right, guys, sorry this is another marathon video, but I think I finally got it all set up. Let me show you what I've done, and I think it's gonna work pretty good. There we go. I do want to get larger tires for it to lift it up off the ground a little bit higher, make it easier. But there's the table. I moved all those shrubs and they look like they're doing pretty good. It's been about 2 weeks actually, and it looks like they're doing pretty good. So I was able to put some of the other stuff back here, hide it out of sight. And there's the table. I put all my drive mats down. Table's nice and solid. It's the same width as the opening. So that should work a lot better. So now I have a working area, and the dump trailer is actually gonna go. Let me put you on wide angle here. So the way I'm gonna do is like I did last time, where fill up my dump trailer with the firewood rounds so they're not in the dirt and I can move them easier actually. And I am going to back the trailer pretty much right up here. And then I put these ground mats down so it's easier to clean up the chips and you know, the snow and stuff like that if I decide to do it in the winter, which obviously I think I'm going to do. I was able to get rid of a bunch of stuff back here also. So I think I'm ready for the firewood, except I have other things going on now, so it's going to be a little bit of time before I can start doing that. But yeah, that's a lot of firewood. So I'll definitely have my exercise this winter. That should fill that bin up, oh, probably 5 times, probably. So, and then this is all more scrap metal, and that's from the white truck, the Corvette mufflers, the white truck. Anyways, this is about the log splitter tray area and a new firewood splitting station. All right, I'm excited. Now I just got to get some light out here. Eventually I'll cut this tree down, but maybe I'll just run a light up there for now. All right, guys, I'm sorry I ramble on my videos. But anyways, it's done. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hope this helped you. Hope you actually just enjoyed it. And I'll see you on some of the, I guess, the firewood splitting videos. Thanks for watching.